Hi, my name is Erin King and I'm a repair specialist here at Kupa Incorporated, and today we're going to repair the KP-55 handpiece. For our first step, we are going to start by taking off the nose cone. And I have a strap wrench, which usually goes over the top, and I hold it and turn it till it's loose. I take that off, and then I carefully unscrew the top. I make sure that the collet knob stays in the same place as I set it down, because if this comes off, you have springs and ball bearings come flying out, and that's a whole nother, we don't want to get into that right now. So now we're going to take apart the collet and collet chuck. Okay, this is what's inside your e-file. It is what we call the collet assembly. Now what the collet assembly is, it holds the bit in place at the top, and attached to it are bearings. At the very end, this is attached to the motor. Now when this is attached to the motor and you turn it on, this is what spins your bit around. And once you break that bit off inside, this is where your problems lie. So I went ahead and took it out of the nose cone, and now we have this collar, what we call a collar. Go ahead and set that aside. So now what I'm going to do is take off the retaining ring, which is placed on top of the dust collar. This is a retaining ring remover. What I do is I find the space between the two sides. I set this inside. For what it does is spreads apart the ring so you can easily get it off. Take off the dust shields. There's a small one, a large one, and this will be the dust cap. Now I'm taking off the bearing, a silver flat washer, and a black wave washer. This is what we call the spacer. There's also another bearing on the bottom. It's larger than the top one. Okay, and now we're going to take off this inner collar, the spring, and down here you'll see this white plastic tip. Now what we're going to do is pull off the white plastic piece that is attached to the collet. All you do is pull it off. You can use a wrench. So now we're going to take apart the collet chuck, and I have two specialty tools. One is a larger triangle and one is a smaller triangle. And the larger one will actually go over the collet shaft itself, like so. We're going to hold it in place. And the smaller one will go over the other end. And all you're simply going to do is turn it counterclockwise. We're going to spin it, spin and spin and spin. So you can feel it getting really loose, and you're going to be more careful, and then it'll all come apart. Okay, so now what we can do when you have a broken bit inside, you can just literally pull the collet shaft out. And right now we have a blank inside, but there will be a broken bit in there, and it'll be kind of difficult to get out. All you really have to do is just tap it, or take something long and skinny, push it through. Gently but firmly. You don't want to mess up your collet shaft. Then you go ahead and pull out the broken bit. And there you have it. As you can see, we have all the parts put in order. So let's go ahead and put this back together. First, we're going to place the spring to the very end of the collet shaft. We're going to take the spring cap, place that over the spring. And we're going to take the 3609 bearing, which is the larger one. This one goes all the way down. This is the spacer. This one goes over. Make sure the lip goes over the 3609 bearing. Next is we will place the 1060ZZ bearing on the top. We'll go ahead and stand this upright, because now it's time to place the washers and the dust seals. Flat washer goes first, then the wave washer, the small dust shield. Fix that. Then the large dust shield, the dust shield cap, and we'll go ahead and make sure we push all of this down so we have space to place the retaining ring on top. The retaining ring is very important. We need to make sure this locks down in place, and I'll take my retaining tool and I will push down gently but firmly. Okay, all the way down. And what that does is locks everything in place. Everything is tight. And next, we will go ahead and place the plastic rear piece back on. We'll go ahead and put that all, make sure it gets all the way on, so it's tight. And now you have removed your broken bit and reassembled your collet. Okay, now that we have assembled our collet assembly, the next we're going to move on to is the cord removal and motor removal. So here we take our strap wrench, and again, we're going to be very careful not to hit the knob. We're going to go ahead and just slide the strap wrench over the silver end cap as tight as we can. We're going to hold it, and then once you feel that it's loose, you can go ahead and carefully remove that. We're going to go ahead and unscrew the end cap. And inside you'll be able to move the cord out a little bit. And this is the nut that keeps everything tight in there. And all you basically have to do, get something flat, and it unscrews righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Okay. Okay. And the motor will pull right on out. Now it's very important that you are very careful with the motor. Any type of trauma, dropping it, being too rough with it, you're going to get it out of balance and it's going to make a horrible noise. Okay, so basically we need a Phillips head screwdriver, and you will see there are two screws, a positive and a negative. The red is always positive and there will always be a red dot. So that's how you will know how to line up the motor cord to the motor. You're just going to go ahead and unscrew till the screws come out and the washer. Okay, and there you have it. You have removed the cord from the motor. Okay, so if in fact you have a bad cord, you would simply take off the nut and cut the cord, because you're always going to want to save the silver part. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and put this aside, and then we'll say, oh, here's our good motor, here's our good cord, and we're going to go ahead and reassemble this. You're going to take your nut. Make sure the threads are facing outwards, okay? Then you will take your motor cord, you'll take your washer, you'll take your screws. I always do the positive first. So we'll go ahead and get the positive cord. There's that. Put the washer on. Gently but firmly screw it in. Okay, so we have that one all good. Now it's also important that the positive and the negative don't touch. Okay, so you're going to want to leave enough space for these two, because if they do cross like such, you won't get any connection. Go ahead and do this. Okay, so here we have it. We have now replace the cord to the motor, and we will simply slide in the motor. Start your threads off slow so it's all even. You'll go ahead and thread it in. And you don't want to thread it in too much. You just, once it stops, stop. Okay? It's like so. And then we'll take, there's always a notch on the cord, and you will slide it in to the open notch on the net. Okay? Like so. Hold that in place. You'll take your motor cap, start the threads on easy. Okay. And we'll go ahead and just screw this on. Once it stops, it has been replaced, and all you'll do is take your strap wrench and you'll tighten that just maybe 1/4 of an inch more. Now you have repaired the motor and the motor cord to your KP-55 handpiece. Okay, so now that we have put our collet assembly together, you know how to change the motor and the power cord. Now we're going to show you what happens when you remove the knob on accident. Okay? So you're working along and you're not sure what exactly is going on. You pull on this. Boom! All of a sudden the springs and ball bearings come flying out. As you can see, we lost one already. So what is inside here is the cam spring, and the knob. So when this arises, I already lost one ball, you're gonna need 2. So I have extra ones here, and we use just regular bearing grease, no special brand, just anything that is for metal bearings. So as we've seen, when I opened it up, all the parts went flying. And this is the most common. You will be missing these 2 ball bearings right here. So if that happens, you can either call us up, you can reorder from us, or maybe you can find them at your local hardware store. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and reassemble this locking mechanism. Okay, basically we're going to start with the connecting bolt and the nut. And we're going to go ahead and assemble these. Go ahead and put a little screw onto that one. Don't screw it all the way in, you need some space. Now we're going to insert the spring, and we have what we call a cam. If you can notice, there are grooves in there, and that is where the ball bearings will sit. We'll go ahead and put the cam inside. And right there is where you're going to want to use the brass nut, and you're going to screw it to where you can see the cam grooves. Okay, you want the cam, basically, you want the middle of the cam grooves to be, that's too much, center with the large notches that are already engraved in to the connecting housing. And we'll go ahead and take bearing grease. Any old bearing grease will do. Anything that's compatible with metal. And we'll go ahead and grab up the ball bearings, and we'll place them in the large grooves, like so. Okay. And we'll take our knob. As you can see, there are 2 notches on either side. And we're just going to go ahead and slide them over the bearings. And we put that together. We hold it gently but firmly, and we will go ahead and tighten the brass nut, righty-tighty. And we will go ahead and tighten this until it is tight. You don't have to over tighten, but make sure it's not too loose, because then you will have X, Y, and Z problems. Okay, and there you go. And then once you have it to put together, you will go ahead and screw it into your motor housing. Careful not to remove the knob once again, because then you'll have to start all over. Now that we have the locking mechanism put back together, we're going to go ahead and attach it back to the motor housing. This is what it looks like. There's threads on the bottom. Here's the knob. Be careful once again not to pull it up, pull it off or anything. So we're going to go ahead and attach it to the motor housing. We're going to gently but firmly screw it on so all the threads are smooth and even. Now that it's tight on there, okay, we're going to go ahead and attach the collar to the collet assembly. Attach the collet assembly to the motor. Go ahead and put on the nose cone. And there you have it. You have reassembled a KP-55 unit. Okay. And here we have a complete KP-55 handpiece that we have put back together. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to watch our other educational videos on Kupa TV at youtube.com.